Have you ever pondered on the concept of judicious use? It might sound like a weighty term, but it simply refers to the wise and thoughtful use of resources. It's about making the most of what we have, without wastage. Think of it as a guiding principle for a more sustainable, less wasteful world. Now let's dive in a bit deeper. The concept of judicious use isn't bound to any one field. It's universal, spanning across energy consumption, water use, and even the use of consumer goods. When we talk about energy, judicious use directs us to switch off lights when not in use, or to prefer energy-efficient appliances. It's about understanding that energy isn't inexhaustible and should be consumed responsibly. In terms of water use, it's about not letting the tap run while brushing your teeth or fixing that leaky faucet that drips water all day. Remember, every drop counts. And in a world where clean, potable water is becoming increasingly scarce, judicious use is not just wise, it's essential. Switching gears to consumer goods, judicious use means not buying more than what you need. It's about resisting the allure of the buy one get one free offers when you know you don't need that extra item. It's about understanding the impact of our consumption patterns on the environment and making conscious choices to reduce wastage. In all these examples, the common thread is sustainability. Judicious use is one of the most effective ways to achieve sustainability. It helps preserve our resources, reduce waste, and lessen our impact on the environment. It's a small step for each of us, but a giant leap for mankind. But you might be wondering, how does judicious use play out in the real world? Is it actually feasible? Can it make a significant difference? Well, to answer these questions, let's turn our attention to a real-life example. To understand this better, consider the case study of a small town in California. The town of El Cerrito, California, presents a fascinating example of judicious use. Nestled on the eastern shore of the San Francisco Bay, El Cerrito has long been a pioneer in waste management, setting a high standard for towns across the nation. Their innovative approach to recycling is not just a system, but a community-wide commitment to reducing waste. From the local grocery store to the schools, from the government offices to the homes, El Cerrito is a town that truly understands the value of resource conservation. They've crafted a unique recycling program that's more than just sorting paper, plastic, and glass. It's a comprehensive plan that minimizes waste and maximizes reuse, truly embodying the concept of judicious use. But it's not just about the system in place, it's about the people who make it work day in and day out. Let's delve deeper into how this community has embraced the concept of judicious use. El Cerrito's Recycling and Environmental Resource Center epitomizes judicious use. At this bustling hub in the heart of California, the ethos of careful and considered use of resources isn't just a concept, it's a way of life. Every day, residents of this vibrant town bring in a myriad of materials for recycling, from paper and plastic to metal and glass. But the center doesn't stop there. They also offer a platform for the exchange of reusable goods. This means that objects which still have life in them, but are surplus to one household, can find a new home. It's the embodiment of the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And then there's the center's commitment to education. They host workshops and seminars teaching people about the importance of reducing waste and reusing materials. They even provide guidance on composting and gardening, encouraging residents to embrace sustainable practices in their own backyards. But the center's influence extends beyond individual households. They also work with local businesses, helping them implement recycling programs and advising them on how to reduce their environmental footprint. From restaurants to retail stores, businesses across El Cerrito are learning to make the most of what they have without contributing unnecessarily to landfills. The center's efforts have had a significant impact. In the past 5 years alone, they've seen a 25% increase in recycling rates and a corresponding decrease in waste. That's a lot of materials that have been given a new lease of life, rather than ending up in a dump. At the heart of all this is the principle of judicious use. It's about understanding that resources are finite and that we need to make the most of what we have. It's about reducing waste, reusing what we can, and recycling what we can't. And most importantly, it's about striking a balance between our needs and the needs of the planet. Such practices underline the essence of judicious use, maximizing utility while minimizing waste. The impact of El Cerrito's approach to judicious use extends beyond the town's borders. This small Californian town has become a beacon, illuminating the path to a more sustainable future for communities far and wide. El Cerrito's practices are not confined to its geographical boundaries. Other communities have taken notice and are inspired to adopt their own versions of judicious use. From small rural settlements to bustling urban centers, the ripple effect is palpable. People are beginning to realize that change starts at the grassroots level, and every effort counts no matter how small. But it's not just communities that are taking note. The state and national governments are also paying attention. Policies reflecting the principles of judicious use are being drafted and implemented. The tide is turning, and it's turning in favor of sustainability. We see this in the form of incentives for eco-friendly practices, stricter regulations against waste, and increased funding for green initiatives. El Cerrito has shown that judicious use is not just a local strategy, but a national imperative. The implications of this case study extend even further, reaching into the realm of environmental preservation. By adopting the principles of judicious use, we can help preserve our natural resources, reduce our carbon footprint, and combat climate change. Sustainability is no longer a distant goal, but an achievable reality. We can all play a part in this global effort by simply being more mindful of how we use our resources. The story of El Cerrito is not just about one town's journey towards sustainability. It's about how a single community's efforts can spark a larger movement. It's about the power of an idea and how it can inspire change on a grand scale. El Cerrito's story demonstrates the power of judicious use. But what does this mean for us as individuals? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Because at the end of the day, the judicious use of resources starts with us, in our homes, in our communities, and in our everyday decisions. It's about making the choice to live more sustainably, for the sake of our planet and future generations. The concept of judicious use isn't restricted to towns or communities. It starts with each one of us. As we ease into this final chapter, let's consider how we can bring the concept of judicious use right into our own lives. And no, it's not about grand gestures or radical lifestyle changes. It's about making small, consistent choices that add up over time. Think about energy consumption. We all flick switches on and off every day without much thought. But what if we started to be more mindful? Turning off lights when we leave a room, unplugging devices not in use, opting for energy-efficient appliances. These simple actions can significantly reduce our energy consumption and contribute to a healthier environment. And then there's the matter of our purchases. We live in a world where consumerism is king, where the newest, flashiest products constantly vie for our attention. But what if we paused before reaching for our wallets? What if we asked ourselves, do I really need this? Can I make do with what I already have? This kind of mindful buying can help us avoid unnecessary purchases, reduce waste, and even save us some money. The beauty of judicious use is that it's not just about conservation or frugality, it's about respect. Respect for the resources we have, respect for the environment we share, and respect for the future generations who will inherit this earth. And it's important to remember that these actions, as small as they may seem, do add up. When we all commit to judicious use, we can bring about significant change. We can reduce waste, conserve resources, and contribute to a healthier environment. And in doing so, we can also inspire others to do the same. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of judicious use is this: it empowers us. It reminds us that we are not powerless in the face of environmental challenges, that our actions, our choices, do matter, and that we can play a part in shaping a sustainable future. So let's not wait for change to happen. Let's be the change. Let's start today, right now, in our own homes, with our own choices. Let's be mindful of our energy use, of our purchases, of the resources we consume. Let's make judicious use a part of our daily lives. Remember, every action counts. The journey towards a sustainable future begins with judicious use.